I picked up a passenger one night. The moment the car door closed, something felt completely off. It was late. The kind of late where the city lights start to blur and the streets become deserted arteries. I was a rideshare driver back then, used to strange encounters and late-night fares, but this was different. The air in my car turned cold, heavy. The woman in my back seat. She didn't feel real. No greeting, no small talk, just a quiet click of the seatbelt. I glanced in the rearview mirror, trying to get a read on her. She was a silhouette against the passing streetlights, her face obscured by shadows. She just stared straight ahead, as if looking through the windshield and into another world entirely. The silence stretched on, thick and uncomfortable. I tried to break it a few times. A friendly, long night, or almost there, but my words just hung in the air, unanswered. The only sound was the low hum of the engine and the rhythmic thump of the tires on the asphalt. It felt like I was driving a ghost. We were about halfway there, cruising down a long, dark stretch of highway with nothing but trees on either side. The silence had become a presence of its own, pressing in on me. Then her voice, a whisper that was barely audible but cut through the engine noise like a razor. It was soft, but it carried a chilling weight. She said, "You're the first person to stop for me since I died." My blood ran cold. The words didn't register at first. They were too bizarre, too impossible. I must have misheard her, but the chill that went down my spine told me I hadn't. My hands tightened on the steering wheel, knuckles turning white. I froze. My mind raced, trying to make sense of it. Was this a joke? A prank? But her tone, it was devoid of any humor. It was flat, factual, and filled with a sorrow so deep it seemed to seep into the very upholstery of the car. I had to look. I had to know. Taking a shaky breath, I slammed on the brakes, the tires screeching on the empty road. I whipped my head around to confront her, to demand an explanation, my heart pounding in my chest. But the back seat was empty. There was no one there. The seatbelt was clicked into place, but the seat was vacant. The indentation where she had been sitting was already fading, as if she were made of smoke. I didn't know what to think. I sat there in the middle of the deserted highway, the car idling, my mind reeling. Was I dreaming? Did I fall asleep at the wheel and imagine the whole thing? I pinched my arm, hard. The sharp sting of pain confirmed I was awake. So, was she real? Had a ghost just been in my car? Nothing, just me and my car under the pale moonlight. I slowly got back in, my hands trembling as I put the car in drive. I finished the trip to the destination, an old, dilapidated house at the end of a dirt road. For days after, I couldn't shake the feeling. I'd glance in the rearview mirror, my heart skipping a beat, but it was always empty. The feeling persisted, a constant low-level dread that made every night shift an exercise in terror. I started avoiding long trips, sticking to well-lit city streets, but the feeling followed me. It was like she had left a part of herself in my car, a phantom presence that refused to leave. One evening, about a week later, it happened again. I was driving down a familiar street, trying to convince myself it was all in my head. I glanced at my rearview mirror out of habit, and I saw her, a glimpse just for a second. A shadowy figure sitting silently in the back, staring straight ahead, just like before. My heart leaped into my throat. This time I knew I wasn't imagining it. The cold dread washed over me again, more intense than ever. I stomped on the brakes, the car lurching to a stop in the middle of the road. My heart was racing, a frantic drum against my ribs. I didn't want to look, but I had to. I squeezed my eyes shut, took a deep breath, and turned around. The seat was still empty. Again, just an empty space where a person should have been. A wave of confusion and fear washed over me. Was I going crazy? Was the stress of the job finally getting to me? She was standing on the sidewalk right behind my car, bathed in the glow of a street light, and she was smiling at me. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was wide, cold, and predatory. I never drive alone at night anymore. After that night, I sold my car and quit ride-sharing for good. I couldn't bear the thought of sitting in that driver's seat again, of glancing in the mirror and seeing that smile. Now, I always take the bus or walk if I have to, and I always lock my doors the second I get home. That image is burned into my memory, the empty seat and the smiling face in the window. Some say she's a local legend, the ghost of a woman who met a tragic end on that very highway. They say she only appears to those who are kind enough to stop for her, a final, chilling thank you before she reveals what she truly is. So, if you ever driving late at night and you see a lone figure on the side of the road waiting for a ride, think twice before stopping. You never know who or what you might be letting into your car. Thanks for listening to my story. If you want to hear more creepy encounters, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, would you have stopped for her?